Okay, there's a lot we need to talk about here. I'm going to try to keep this to a minimum, but I need to bring you up to speed. I finished polishing the car. I ended up transitioning to Rupes wool, medium wool. They have medium and then they have coarse. I used medium wool on the car, and then I finished with yellow. So medium wool, Just Car Correction Compound, followed with Sonex Perfect Finish and a yellow pad. And you can see I used 4, 3, and 3 of the 5-inch, 3-inch, 1-inch, 5, 4, and 3 of the 5-inch, 3-inch, 1-inch yellow pad, and then I used a couple of whites. I used a couple of the courses on the glass. Glass is a difficult thing to polish and correct, so really the glass polishing for me is more of a cleanup, a deep cleaning. So I use Sonex Cut Max and the coarse wool pad. You could also use a microfiber cutting pad, but the real way to polish glass would be to use CarPro Siri glass and a rayon pad. But again, trying to correct out glass is a fickle game. It takes hours and hours and hours and hours for very, very little result. You know, if you have any kind of deeper scratches from wiper action, you can correct glass, but it's such a fickle thing. It takes so much energy that, you know, I don't recommend. I usually just replace the glass. So now we're going to finish the car. I last night put a coat of Crystal Serum Light on, which is the base coating. I was planning on doing a wax, but I want to show you the process. The process between Crystal Serum Light and the last steps of EXO is identical, so we're going to do that to the car. So the original plan was to do wax, sealant wax combo. Go check out where I did my dad's WRX, some of my older videos where I do my Sapphire Blue GT3. I did my M3 recently with this combination. This is a tried and true, very simple thing. This is what you'd want to do, especially for all you new guys to the channel, Civic guys. This is a good combination. I have this in my store. I've had this for a long, long time. I've been using this for, I don't know, a decade or so, maybe somewhere around a decade. PowerLock Plus is a polymer sealant. Colonite 845 is there's a polymer additive to a carnauba wax, and for whatever reason, these two play really well together. I found this on a detailing forum a number of years ago. And it might even have been S2KI. So I don't remember where I found it, but I've been using this for a long, long time. This has evolved. This has been the same. Where I'd recommend this is if you don't know what you're doing and you're learning how to polish, because the coating application is actually easier than the application of this. You could screw up the coating application. I'm going to show you how simple it is. So don't be afraid of the coating application, be afraid of the polishing. You don't want to lock in the surface for a couple of years if you're not really great at polishing. So the nice thing about this combo, it'll last 6, 7, 8, 9 months, depending on how you care for it, depending on the conditions of your car, maybe 4 months if you have if you have really harsh conditions. But using this combination with a wax pad and a sealant pad, again, these are the same pads from Adams. You want these. You can't mix them. You can't wash out either one of them very well, and so you just put the product on and leave it. But again, go check out the Rolodex of videos for that stuff. So what we are going to do today is a coating, and this is I love this stuff so much. I got my name put on the bottle somehow, but my friends at Gtechniq created a special edition Obsessed Garage. It's the same product, so don't get too excited. It's not some special magical formula. It's just the only difference is they put a stopper in the CSL bottle, so you can, or a dropper, I should say, so you can just dab the pad rather than using a pipette. But Crystal Serum Light is the base coating. This is the base product. This is like the baby brother to the big boy stuff, which is Crystal Serum Ultra, which, don't get too excited, you can't buy this. The only reason I have it is because I'm really good friends with them. I'm technically certified, or I've been to the accreditation training. I'm not certified because I'm not a professional detailer, but you can't buy this stuff. You'd have to have an accredited installer do it. Call my buddy Billy at Presidential to get that done. And I have some Halo here, which is for PPF stuff. So base layer, I believe silicon dioxide based coating. There's just a liquid here. On this size car, you would use maybe a little less than half of a bottle, so not a lot of product would be necessary to be used. Topped with EXO, so this is our topper. This is what I'm going to use as a layer. I'm going to show you application of this, which is the same application of CSL. You cannot put 2 coats of this. I mean, you can, it's just not going to do anything. It won't adhere or bond to itself. This is a single layer product, stupid idiot proof. Anyone could do it. Again, polishing is the part that isn't idiot proof. The application of the sealant. If you can do wax, you could certainly do the coating. So don't think you can't do that. But I don't want to lock in a bunch of semi-swirled out paint because I'm not really sure about polishing. This came out so great. I was going to wax it, but it's so fantastic, I just coated it. So I coated it last night. Cure time, I like to let it sit at least overnight, 5-6 hours. You don't have to, but I feel better about it. There is a recommended cure time of, I think it's 3 to 5 hours. And I know that I have done it where I put this on and immediately EXO. You can do it that way, but I prefer to let it cure. So we're going to show you application of EXO. I'm also going to show you how to do glass sealant, which is a very similar process, with the exception of we're going to do circles, and the removal of this is not as easy. But this is my favorite glass sealant. I import this from Hungary, but this is Wolf's Nano Glass Sealant, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's get rolling. CarPro applicator pad. I don't have any of these in stock. I'm waiting. Hopefully they'll have them soon. We do have suede applicators. You don't need a block. I don't use the block for 90% of the car. I usually use the block for the hood and then abandon it halfway through. You can do microfiber applicator pads. My friend Ian at Autofiber has, I think, the best microfiber applicator pads. The thing I don't like about microfiber is it uses a whole lot more product. So I would recommend against using microfiber unless you're doing this for a living and you've got to go fast. You can get more product on there, you can move quicker, but I'm not in a rush, so I'm going to take my time and use this product. So we're going to take some EXO. I've got some microfiber towels. I think you want a really low pile towel. You don't want it to be super expensive because we're going to throw these away afterward. I've got 6 of them here. I'll probably only need 2 for this layer. But this is a 240 GSM Rag Company towel that I use for coating removal. Really, really low nap, really soft, so you won't have any scratch issues. I just don't like high pile towels. I feel like they just push stuff around. So let me get the camera set up, let me get some gloves on, and we'll start moving. Oh, I should mention this sucker. You need to get one of these. This is called a skin wedge tool. It's basically emulates your thumbnail, but in metal. You'll use this I use this thing for everything. Prying off body panels, things like that. I have these in the store. My friend Derek from Sound and Motion turned me on to those a couple of years ago. He sent me one. This is that one I've been using ever since. So let's get set up here. Okay, first you want nitrile rubber gloves because otherwise the coating will eat right through it. If you do some sort of other EPDM rubber or some other, I don't know what our other options are in gloves, but we want nitrile rubber. So you can see CSL. One of the reasons why I like this so much is it's super slick and looks very wax-like. Looks more wax-like when we do EXO. Always don't shake, but mix chemicals. I'm going to take the top off, inspect to make sure there isn't any crystallization there, that there aren't any little bits and pieces. Usually on a new bottle, you won't have to worry about that. I'm going to take this, use the dropper to prime my pad, like so. Not a ton of product, but enough. And then I'm going to move it around. You'll notice the difference here, this application versus doing the first layer of CSL after polishing. You have a lot less grab. It's very, very smooth. You drop a towel on this, it's going to fall on the ground. That's why I like Gtechniq so much. It's one of the slickest coatings, as well as, you know, very, very simple to apply. We don't have to worry about flash times and all that bull crap. I tend to work in this EXO a little bit more than I would CSL, but the application process is rather similar. The key to this, if you're new to this idea of coating, is that you stay organized. And this product, I can do the entire hood. Most coatings, at least most coatings in the past, you know, more of them are now, you can now do something like this where you do the whole hood. But most coatings, you would have needed to really manage this, because if you screw up, then you have to start really hammering down to get it removed. And so keep that in mind. But don't let this, I'm telling you, don't let this scare you. If you watch these videos and you listen to me and you follow the process, not sort of follow the process, but you follow the process. Don't make up other steps, don't take away steps, just do it this way. Then you'll find this is a really simple thing to do. Like, super simple. In fact, simpler than doing the wax combo I talked about. I like to go over it 2 or 3 times on EXO, kind of work the product in, make sure I get good even coverage. And we're going to do 2 coats of this. Basically, by the time I get done with the first coat, I'm going to come around and do the second coat. And I'm telling you, the only thing better than wiping off the original CSL coat, it would be that Power Lock product I talked about, removing that first wipe off, and you see how amazingly slick the surface is. That's probably the only thing that's better than this stuff. I'm a sucker for this kind of, how this product feels when you touch it. So I'm gonna have 2 towels, initial wipe, secondary wipe. I like to use the towel and fold it in half like this. It's not the smartest way to do it, but maybe, no, I like these in quarters, that's right. So this will smear around a little bit. I need to be careful of wiping it onto other surfaces, so I need to wipe the surrounding areas as well. And again, by the time I got over from this side to the other side, you know, it's about ready to wipe off. Again, this, you don't need to get too excited about exacting conditions. Now, this will be much more difficult to deal with if it's humid outside. Yes, you can install this in a sort of a covered area or your driveway or anywhere. You don't need special conditions like what I have, but you know, it certainly doesn't hurt. It makes it a lot easier that I've got climate controlled, humidity controlled conditions in here. I can't believe how great this car came out. We're off to a really good start. I have a really good feeling about the level of how nice this car is going to be. And I'm telling you, bear with me. If this gives you any indication of where we're headed with this car, don't get all bent out of shape that I'm taking a 27,000 mile car in this condition to do some aftermarket stuff. It's all bolt-on. I'm not going to be cutting things. I might roll the fenders. That's about the extent of the real metal fabrication I'm going to be doing. Everything will bolt in, and stop emailing me. I'm not selling you things. Everything with this car is going to stay complete with this car. There will be no selling of anything. No trunks, no seats. I'm going to be taking the interior out. It's all staying with this car. It'll all stay numbers original. Okay, the beauty of having a lift is that now I can bring it up to the height that I need in order to do what needs to be done. God dang, look how good this thing is. Even with a little bit of, you know, just sort of rock patina, there's one significant rock chip here, and with a little bit of, there's a little divot here, but and there's one here, but most of this is really, for this car, for this, you know, this model and how old this thing is, it's freaking good. But still not so good that you wouldn't want to drive it. Actually, this is where I go to ditch the block to do the front area. I'm doing this as well. Yeah, so let's grab a regular suede. You'll need 4 or 5 of these suede applicators because you'll hit some dirty spots where you'll want to replace it. You can see on this area, just way easier to apply it this way. If any of you guys know anybody, and I'm being serious here, like that really wants to work for parts. You know, I've called 3 companies now to say, here's what I want. I need some help consulting. There's some things that I would need some help tracking down and some ideas like offsets and things like that. But I literally will write them a check for whatever it costs. No haggling, no negotiating. Just these are the parts that I want. Can you source them from Japan? Can you use your contacts to get moving on this? And I will buy it. But something, and it's something, this is worse than the Corvette stuff. These people, you know, I get, maybe they're just salespeople for the companies, but everybody's in lazy mode. Now is not the time to be lazy. Now is the time to work twice as hard, twice as long, 4 times the effort that you normally put in, so that way you can survive and your business can thrive. And so if you have a job and you're working for somebody else, I get that you don't own the business, but let's frickin' go. I'm ready to order this stuff. Don't just like say, I'll get back to you. Do it right now. Let's go. Let's do it. You know, if somebody calls me and says, hey Matt, I'm ready to buy a $100,000 garage, I'm not going to say, well, let me see. I'll get back to you. So frustrating. So I'm on my 3rd company. I'm gonna have to go find everything myself. I was looking for somebody to consult, like, you know, help me figure out offsets, help me figure out, you know, let's order stuff. Let's get it. You can make a margin on it. Why would you not like act on that immediately? Let's go. I'm gonna write you a $50,000 check for every part made for this darn thing, and I can't get it done. I know you get jerked around a lot, but just Google search. Matt Moorman, Obsessed Garage. I'm a professional shopper for crap. So anyway, if you know somebody somewhere that you know isn't lazy and isn't going to give me a song and dance about how they're going to do work. I mean, I've got a list of like 100 things that I want. And I need some help figuring out a few extra things. That's all I need. Let's do it today, not tomorrow. Or call me back in an hour, you know, not a week later. I'm a week and a half later and I've got nothing. So freaking makes me so angry. If any of my guys at Obsessed Garage ever do that to you, you let me know immediately. So I'm gonna go kick them right in the nuts. Now it's different if you say, you know, I'd like some help with this or that, or I'm gonna buy a fitting. You know, we gotta put you in the queue. But if you're buying gosh darn 50 grand worth of stuff, I'll talk to you right now. Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, midnight, I'll wake up if you need me to do that. So anyway, I'm not talking like this to the people at the time. Maybe I should. I'm super nice. I mean, I'm like the dream, I'm the dream gosh darn customer. Hey, I want one of everything, and I want it like today. And here's my money. Let's go. Let me think about that. I'll get back to you in a couple of weeks. What? It's insane. And I know some of you are sitting there thinking, well, I messaged you about a pressure washer gun. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not calling for a new grill. I'm calling for like everything. So let's work together here. Let's do something great. Oh man. By the way, this is so good. This is the worst part of the car, and it's acceptable to me. It looks better on camera than it does in person. All right, let's work our way down the side of the car and keep rolling. I mean, this car literally changed like 2 shades of blue. Not from the coating. The coating really doesn't do anything from a depth or from a clarity perspective. The coating makes it a little slicker, maybe a little bit shinier, but all the work is done in the polishing. My buddy Sean from PSI ordered me all the spoon stuff and the Moton suspension. He's not even making any money on it. He's like hooking me up. And we had it done in like an hour. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to order some Mugen MSZ seats. I want, steering wheel, the shift knob, every part that Hard Race makes. I want 3 sets of wheels, 4 sets of wheels. If you want to mount and balance them, if you have capabilities to do that, that'd be cool too. I want headlights. I want if I source a new rear seat. It's just dozens and dozens and dozens of items. Let's frickin' do it. God dang it. Makes me so mad. What makes me happy is this darn thing looks fantastic. So maybe you can help me out. Mugen MS-Z seats. I'm getting those. What seat rails, for all you Civic guys, what seat rails do I need for that? I'd like it to be lower. Those are like a hybrid bucket, like a sport bucket, if you will. I don't want some crazy racing seat. I'm too freaking big and old for that. I want some big, uncomfortable, thing. So how do I fit those to the car? I mean, I know they just bolt in, but what about the rails? How does that work? Can you help me figure that one out? These are the questions that I have. Simple enough if you knew the answer to it. It'd be like you asking me how do I hook up my pressure washer? What stuff do I need to wash my car? So remember, you call your boy Matty. You email me, Matt, I want one of everything, and I'm ready to go. Some stuff is going to be out of stock, some stuff is going to be back ordered, but I will get it done. I can promise you that. So satisfying to see this old baby legend here, this adolescent legend. Wish I would have known how to do all this in 2000. It's amazing how far detailing has come in the last 20 years. Oh, EXO on the trim. You put CSL base, but then the EXO just makes it look fantastic. So stop with all this trim, special trim nonsense, the special wheel coating nonsense. Just stick with the darn good stuff. Put the flagship on the coating. I don't know why it took me so long to I resisted that forever, trying to find some special trim coating. Well, the special trim coating has been here all along. It's called put the regular coating on the trim. and it looks freaking amazing. Wow, so good. So I'm going to sit here and chat you up. You can drop off if you want. You get the concept here. So you're going to do this 3 times. You know, so you're going to need 6 or 8 towels. You're going to need 10 applicators or so, and you're going to need a couple of bottles of stuff. And then we'll be talking about maintaining this in the future of other episodes. But you can drop off here or click forward over to the glass sealant part. This is probably going to be a long video. I might as well leave the camera on. I have it here. Who knows what other things little tidbits I'll drop on you that might resonate or might not or might trigger. But yeah, this is the process of coating a car. I have a tendency to do, because of the lift, some weird iterations of the application, meaning a weird process where, you know, normally I'd start on the roof and work my way down, but combination of me messing around with the camera here and having the car in the lift, I'm going to do the whole lower section of the car and then I'll lower it down and do the upper section. Just remember what you did. That's the key requisite here to this process. Remember what parts you did and didn't do. Just look down the side of this car. Can't wait for Michael to get here next week. He's going to dial in any waviness, that one dent on the side. So good. So good. It's not perfect. This is a driver's car. This is a car you can take out and drive. But it's darn good. I'm going to show you, actually I'm going to lower the car down and show you the trunk and the wing. And then I'll bid you adieu until we do the glass sealant part. And that'll be a wrap for this car. I'll be taking the wheels off and doing those separately in the future. That won't be part of this series. It'll be just a one-off video later on in the overall process. You could also be using an inspection light. I don't really see much of a need for it because I can see, because I've got the aperture light here that I'm using for the camera. One thing, don't lay your towels down on the paint, because you don't want to end up with the coating sitting there. You also don't need to hold on to the bottle because you shouldn't be applying a ton. You know, I'm not going to do this whole trunk with that one little bit of product on there. More is not better. More is just a waste of product. And I am going to keep the wing, so all of you can relax on that. It's grown on me. You know, I didn't want it because I didn't have it back in the day, but I think I probably wanted it back in the day. So we're going to leave it on here. Need some downforce for all that 140 horsepower of high speed. It's very important. But I'm telling you, this car sucks so bad that it like doesn't even matter. You know, it's so slow and so cheap and so odd for me to even have this thing. But That's kind of what makes it good. Even though everything's kind of cheap and economical on this, there's nothing lazy about this car. That's what always rubbed me so wrong about the Corvette, is there's a lot of lazy engineering, just kind of cheap and lazy, and moonlighting as fancy. There's nothing fancy about this. There was no attempt to be fancy. It's just a, pure, fun car for a decent amount, for not a lot of money. And so then I'll also treat all the rubber. It's already been hit with CSL. I'm hitting again with EXO. It's okay if you get a little on the glass, you're just going to wipe it right off. I'm also going to pop this open, and I'm going to do the jams of the trunk too. And I do want to show you the B pillar back there, how much that richens up. So I'm doing the headlights, the tail lights, all the rubber, all the black trim. I'm even putting this on the sunroof, like the glass, the side mirrors, the whole deal. And you'll know if your towels start loading up because they won't. You'll have to wipe more. Mine are still good, but I haven't even flipped them over. But EXO will load up your towel and you'll have to swap it with a new one. This car's small enough that I probably won't have to do that. Also, make sure you're managing like these areas. Make sure you're getting in there, getting them wiped clean. And I'm not leaning in, I'm not using pressure, just enough to keep the towel flat. But there's no reason to get super aggressive with this. It's so darn slick that I don't think you could scratch the surface anyway, even if you tried, but there's no reason to introduce any scratches. But what a remarkable difference. I mean, I know you guys thought, you see the pictures on Instagram of the car, but I couldn't capture the essence of how scratched up it was. But luckily, they were love-induced scratches, meaning over-touching. Somebody who really cared for the car and keeping it clean. It wasn't neglected. It was the opposite of that. It was touched too much. The opposite of neglection. And that can lead to a need for correction, a lot of times more than if you never wash the darn thing. Look at how good that is, man. It's amazing. Amazing, amazing. And like I said, I'd say this is like 90%. I didn't want to get the sandpaper out and start chasing certain little there's a little scratch right here. You'd have to get in the right light to see it. But it's there. I know it's there. But it's one of those things that you don't want to take it too far and really mess it up and blow through the paint. I'm about ready to swap out this. And so this is a good time to do the underside here. So I'm going to do this rubber. I didn't do this with CSL, the rubber anyway, it's okay. But I also want to do the jam area, just like I did the door jams. This will really soak up the product too. This is what you get with a well-maintained car like this. All this stuff would be all kind of on the edge, beat up. But this sucker's been preserved. I don't have to replace any of it. So good. Of course, I cleaned all these jams out and blew them all out. Wiped them out with a eraser after polishing, so that now I could come in and coat. How many EM1 Civics have their door jambs coated? There's going to be a lot more of them now after this, I hope. That's my hope in this whole thing, is that this isn't about spending a lot of money on a Civic. To me, it's not anyway. This is about just chasing, pursuing. And it won't be perfection, but it'll be really, really good. And giving people that alternative, the alternative thought process of not accepting the status quo and chasing something better. That's what this stuff is about for me. It's about the fun, it's about the enjoyment of it, but it's about the pursuit of excellence, the pursuit of functional excellence. That's my motto. I'm always pursuing it. I never get to perfection. It's not the pursuit of perfection for me. My therapist tells me I am a perfectionist. I don't believe it. I think because my definition of perfection is unattainable. I'm just pursuing excellent. But like my definition of excellence changes over time. Like my M3 is excellent, but now that I've had it for a while, I've been able to recover from the initial pursuit. It'll be time to take it to the next level. Holy moly, that looks great. All right, so let's do these. I'm not going to do this area. Let's do I'm going to do those B pillars and then sign off for you with you. Towel, applicator, and I go like that, and that's it. I go around the window here. Might as well do the mirror. Got to be careful. I'm getting kind of jumping around all over the place. You need to keep track of where you've been and where you're going. I'll do all the rubber around the windshield. Windows are getting tinted on the 9th by my boy Martin. He's going to be doing that. I want to step on my towels, but I'm also, I'm not doing glass sealant on the sunroof. I'm just doing the CSL EXO combo up here. Same thing on this little expansion joint. I need to get a new towel, new applicator. Go around this window. Trim the side. Catch up to where I finished up over there. And then this whole thing. So what I'll do I'm going to finish this EXO application, then I'll do the glass, then I'll do my second EXO application. So I'm going to wipe that off. Actually, let me show you this here. Look at how good that looks. Oh my word. This car. Holy crap, this car is good. All right, I'll come back to you when we do glass. So the glass is pretty simple. Put some gloves back on. Now, if you buy Wolf's, you get if you buy the 150 milliliter bottle, there is a dropper on it, which I lost mine. We had a broken bottle and I filled this one up to the tippy top, and I lost the darn dropper. So I'm gonna need to use a pipette for this to apply. And I'm gonna cut off some of this suede stuff. I really need to get some regular scissors in here. What's an OG spec scissor? Pair of scissors. Certainly not these heavy duty ones that I'm using. So this is just suede. We used to use these to level the coatings, which you don't really need anymore. But with the glass, first thing I'm gonna do is take some spray isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to spray the windshield down. Let's just do the windshield together, and then I'll go and do the side mirror, side windows. Lift my wiper blades. I don't intend to drive this in the rain, so this is kind of pointless, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I'm gonna just spray some isopropyl alcohol. This is just Walgreens, 91% IPA. Take my waffle weave towel, wipe it. Again, I polished this glass already, cleaned it several times. But when you're doing your glass sealing, it's all about prep. You know, that's what makes your glass sealant last longer. If you don't prep it, it isn't going to do very well for you. So that's the important part. Windows are getting tinted next Saturday. Dents are getting pulled on Thursday. And let the ordering bonanza begin. So you can cut off a piece of old microfiber, you can use a fancy applicator pad, you can use whatever you want on this. Not super critical. The key is, I think, to put in circles. You want to work this into the glass. You know, glass, just like clear coat, is actually rather porous if you looked at it under a microscope, and so the idea behind this is it's going to fill in those porous areas, making the surface tension change, and we end up with a surface that rejects water, if you will. This is not an extremely hydrophobic sealant. It's good with hydrophobics, I would say, but it's not extreme. I've found that if you go extreme, then you end up with extremely annoying wipers. The other thing with this product that I like so much is it's just good. It's good with water, but it doesn't fail. It just slowly degrades. You know, a lot of rain products like Rain X and stuff like that gets real smeary and obnoxious when it starts to wear out after a few weeks. This, if you prep right and you manage your wiper blades, will last months. I like this more than Flyby Forte from CarPro or G1 from from Gtechniq. I just like this better. Scott's supposed to be sending me some glassparency stuff to try out, but I have a sneaky suspicion that this is very similar to that. But glassparency's selling a system. So I'll finish this here. I'm going to work my way around, do all the glass. By the time I get all the way around, it's certainly ready to wipe off. It just needs 5 minutes or so to set up. And I'm going to do 2 coats on the windshield and 1 coat on the rest of the car. Again, this is kind of a moot point. This would be more for washing for me. I don't really plan on driving this car a whole heck of a lot. This to me is more about the project than it is about the, if I want a pure driving experience, I'll go drive my GT3. All right, I think Tidal, I switched from Spotify, well I still have Spotify, but from Spotify to Tidal for my fancy new computer stuff, but I think it knows that I bought a 2000s car because I keep suggesting all this 2000 stuff. I've just been listening to Alanis Morissette. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? So, take a little bit of glass cleaner. I find that this doesn't hurt the sealant, but makes it way easier to get off. And use a little bit of pressure. Flip your towel around. Get the sealant off. And that is our glass process. Now, I should have in the next few weeks the additive for the windshield, the windshield washer fluid, which is Angel Wax Clarity. I've ordered it. We're just kind of waiting for it. And so I'd put that in here 19-1 is what I'd do. So that's a wrap on the rather brief, for me, Civic detail project. This is Geon glass. I've been trying to decide whether I like this more than invisible glass. They're so darn similar. I mean, glass cleaner isn't all that complicated. I'll have the guys do a little exit montage for you of what this thing looks like on Monday. So, thanks for watching. The Civic looks freaking fantastic. Your support is really appreciated. You buy these products that I'm using. This was never my intent when I was in wealth management to be the source of all this stuff, but it's kind of morphed into that, and I'm excited to be able to offer it and chase things like nobody has ever chased before. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of it. Civic's legit. Exit montage of what this thing looks like. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.